Kate, we've talked about making a list of some of those steps that you could take, steps that would get you closer to that goal of being able to drive across the bridge to your new office. So I wonder, are you ready to give it a try? What do you think?
I think I'm ready.
Good, I think so too. We've done some preliminary work to get us ready to be at this point, and I think it's time to get started. So what I'm going to do is pull out a folder and piece of paper and make a list.
Okay.
And I'll do the writing today if it's okay, and then you can take it with you and work on it between sessions like you usually do.
Okay. Okay, great.
So if we might think about ratings of these steps on a scale from 0 to 100, and 100 would be right at the top, the maximum anxiety that you could imagine, the maximum stress. And a 0 would be hardly anything, you know, no anxiety at all.
Okay.
And a 50 would be somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
So can you think of some things that would be would be lower on the range?
Yeah, actually, if driving around the block, like by my house.
Sure. And what would that be?
That's maybe around a 10.
I gather no congestion.
No, it's real quiet there.
Yeah, no expressways or bridges or anything like that.
No.
So drive around the block?
Yeah.
All right. How about some other things that would be low on the range?
Well, driving to work. I can drive to work.
Can you?
Well, yeah, I do it every day. I've done it every day for 20 years.
Right. And I think driving to work is not across bridges, and you go through some back ways so that you don't get into congested areas.
Oh, that's true,
right?
yeah.
And how far is the drive to work?
Oh, it's about 3 miles.
3 miles.
Yeah.
And what would that be?
It's around a 20.
About a 20.
Yeah.
And how about some other things that are in the lower range?
I had to go pick up lunch for the office the other day, and that was maybe a 35.
35?
Yeah.
All right. And what were the circumstances? Where were you driving? What was the congestion like?
A couple of blocks, but it's congested.
Just a couple of blocks?
Yeah.
But it was congested.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a busier place.
Busy area. Anything that would be closer to the top of the list?
Oh, yeah.
What would that be?
Well, the bridge.
The bridge.
The bridge.
The big
it's
bridge.
like, yeah.
What would that be?
It's like 100.
100?
Yeah.
No, we're at the top of the scale.
Maybe like the bridge if it's raining.
The bridge and it's raining.
Yeah, that's the worst.
How about if it wouldn't be raining? On a clear day,
if it wasn't,
nice sunny day.
If it wasn't raining, that bridge would probably be around, I'd say like a 90.
Okay. Anything in the middle that you can think of?
Riding with my husband on the expressway.
Riding with your husband, so he's driving.
Yeah.
It's still a 50.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I keep my eyes closed, it's a little bit lower, but if I open my eyes, I think it would be a 50.
Oh, I see. So you can alter the experience to some extent.
Yeah.
How about
yeah.
if your eyes are closed?
If my eyes are closed, it's more like a 35.
Oh. But we're making some good progress here. Before we go on, I wanted to point out one thing that I think is really interesting, and that's that you've rated driving to work, which is 3 miles, by yourself, as a 20. And there's some other things on this list that are much higher, like even just riding with your husband on an expressway, going out to pick up some lunch was a 35. What do you think of that idea that driving to work every day along a 3-mile route is down at a 20?
Well, I mean, I'm used to it. I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, I think so too. And in fact, that's one of the principles of this whole approach. And one of the principles is that if you can do things over and over again, then you get more comfortable with them. Your anxiety goes down.
Huh. Okay.
So there are many things on this list that you're not doing either at all or very infrequently, and so the anxiety then goes up.
Right.
So we might be thinking of ways to do things repeatedly or over and over again till you get more comfortable with them.
Okay.
What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, I think...
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it feels manageable to drive to work.
Good.
That would be good.
Kate, I think we've done some really good work on developing this list. There are a couple things that I think might help it out a bit, and one of those
Okay.
is that I'm just seeing one bridge on the list, and it's that big bridge, and it's
Yeah.
the bridge that causes the most fear. And I wonder if there are any other bridges anywhere that you either drive across now or could drive across that would be lower on the list that could give you a chance to, again, build that confidence.
Well, there's none that I drive across, but there
So you
are a
avoid
couple.
all of them now?
Oh yeah, there's a couple near my house that are smaller, that aren't as scary.
Can you pick one and we could rate it?
Yeah, there's one that goes over like a little creek, and I'd say that would be probably around a 40.
A 40.
Yeah.
Just goes over a little creek.
Yeah, it's not very long.
Any other bridges you can think of that are
Well, there's
close
a
to you that are
longer
smaller?
one. There's a longer one near my house that it's like a 60.
So we have two other bridges. And you might remember I pointed out that when you do something repeatedly, like drive to your work, that then after a period of time it gets easier. So I wonder, as we think about beginning to take some of these steps, that one of them might be, perhaps not this week, but fairly soon, is taking one of those bridges that are rated somewhat lower and trying to do it a fair number of times so that you get more comfortable with it.
Okay.
How's that sound to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It certainly would be easier.
Right. Now, before we pick some things to do for this week, there's one more question I have, and that's, we haven't talked about anything that might even be over the top of the scale. I've found with many people that they push some of those things out there in the almost impossible range.
Oh yeah, I got
But
some
yet
of
they
those.
are, in your case, it would be related to driving. So can you think of anything that would be even over 100?
Yeah, my sister has a convertible. And
Does she?
Yeah, thinking about driving over the bridge in that convertible would just,
You driving the convertible?
yeah.
What would that be?
Oh, that'd be about 140.
140.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that certainly won't be step number one.
Okay, good.
Right. But we need to keep something like that in mind. I found with some other people that have done this that they get to the point where they want to do something that at the beginning seemed impossible, but now they're getting close to being able to do it. And if you can do that, then some of the other steps seem not quite as difficult or challenging.
Well, if I could do that, I could do anything.
Yeah, I think so. So let's pick some things here that are in the range of 40 or 50 and below,
Okay.
just for this next week to get going. So as you look at
Okay.
the list, what strikes your fancy here? What would you like to begin with?
You know, I could pick up lunch. We usually send out like 2 or 3 times a week, and they're always looking for somebody to drive down.
Right. And how many times would you do that?
I could volunteer. So let's say 2 to 3 times.
2 to 3 times, right. So the more specific we are, I think the better we'll be
Okay.
with setting a target of numbers of times. So let's pick another 1 or 2 of these things.
Well, I could practice driving with my husband on the expressway with my eyes closed.
Okay. So let's put that one on. Do you want to try
Yeah.
that? All right.
Yeah.
How many times would you do that?
Oh, I could do that 3 times.
Okay.
He likes to go on the
3
expressway.
times. Any chance you want to try this 40
The
rated
little
bridge? The
I
little
was
bridge?
thinking about that. I was
Yeah.
thinking about. I think I could try that.
All right. And how many times would you do that?
I could do that twice.
2 times. All right. Well, that'll be a good start.
Okay.
Ultimately, doing it even more than that might really benefit you. But I think it's really good to get started with it, and you can come back and you can tell me how things go, and then we can use those experiences to build upon and continue to make our progress. So how does all this sound to you?
A little scary.
Yeah, but it usually is. But I think we've picked some steps here that are reasonable,
Yeah.
and I think there's a really good chance that this will work out. And if by any chance these just seem too challenging to do, or you don't get them done, don't worry about it. We'll come back in and we'll talk about it, and we'll pick up and go from there.
Okay.
All right?
Well, I'm
Good.
going to try.
Good.